Yo, 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 what's going on? What's going on? Terrell, Hall of Fame, D-Line, TBKC, and all that sweet, beautiful, wonderful shit. All right. Good question. So I guess we'll answer it. This one is usually something I would probably do inside the mentorship program, but I will tell you this. Coccidia. And maybe I've talked about it before. Coccidia is sort of sneaky. You know, it's a parasite. A lot of dogs have it. A lot of times they will show no signs of it. And then boom, you know, it almost looks like parvo. You know, you'll notice them getting nauseous. They'll throw up some. You'll notice a little blood in the stool. And I'm telling you, within 24 hours, you can have a lot of diarrhea with a lot of blood in the stool. It's a very tricky little thing. And you know, for most things, they say like all puppies like will have it in there, but they can, you know, through our dewormings and whatever else this the case may be, immune system, whatever, it fights the stuff off, and it's good. But when the dogs get under stress, sometimes, other times when they're left in nasty conditions, you know, this brings it on, you know. And when it brings it on, you know, like I say, a lot of dogs won't be as affected by it. You'll notice that the dog is not even affected by it. You might take your dog to the vet and it'll get a positive test for it, and your dog is just as big and healthy with hard stools and everything. But for those dogs that it do affect, it can literally kill them fast. So most of the time, check it. If your vet tests your dog positive for coccidia, especially if your dog has been already around your property, coccidia is probably going to be on your property forever. That shit just really doesn't want to die, just like parvo. But I tell you, if you have this situation, and how to immediately start treating it, especially if you get in a situation where you may not be able to make it to the vet immediately. One of the ways to treat the situation, of course, is to get Pepto or Imodium, and the first thing you want to do is stop the dog from the nauseousness and stop the dog from the diarrhea, because just like parvo, most of the dogs that die from the parvo or coccidia, it's because of dehydration. They just you know, just shit, vomit, shit, vomit, and at the same time, they're losing a lot of blood, and red blood cell count is getting low, and that causes another problem, because the dog pretty much is going to go and end up with the white gums and be anemic. So that by the time you get to that point, you're in pretty big shit. So this is what I tell you to do is, outside of your Pepto, everybody should try to keep a little bit of cephalexin or amoxicillin when you got a dog. Y'all know 90% of the time, that's what they're going to give you when you go to the vet. But I do treat pretty much everything with cephalexin or amoxicillin, and have pretty good success if anything pops up. Now, the actual way to, at home, to treat coccidia is Corid. Corid, or I forget the name of the other one, and y'all can put it in there. I use Corid, but it's another one that's a very popular name, and like I told y'all, I'm sort of drained right now. But anyway, Corid, you can get that from a Tractor Supply or whatever, and I bet you as soon as this video is over, I'll remember the name of the other one. But you know, Corid is pretty cheap in the long run of it all. I end up buying a gallon, just because I treat as a preventative measure right off top. The last wormings that I do, the 6 weeks and the 8 weeks, I go ahead and hit them with a little bit of Corid with the wormers. But it's pretty, you know, it's pretty. For a gallon of it, it's like $100. That gallon will last you like forever, because you're only giving them what is it, half a cc per 10 pounds, I do believe. So it's pretty easy to use. But you know, you give them that, you know, of course, according to weight. And then during the process, of course, if you're doing the Pepto to make sure that the stomach is not going crazy on them. Pepto, or like I said, I've had better success sometimes with like the a milk of magnesia or Imodium or something like that, that really just stops it, you know. And people are like, oh, don't, some people are like, oh, don't give some of that stuff. Look, if your puppy is in a bad situation and you're in an emergency, you better go ahead and get that poop stopped. And if it has an allergic reaction to something else, then so be it. But I've been doing a lot of years and I haven't had any reactions to Imodium and shit like that. So, but you know, but once you get that stomach to stop that constant pooping or whatever, then it's many different things, you know, the treatment with Corid or whatever. But also some people do the treatments of I think it's like oregano or basil or something like that, the ones that do it naturally. And y'all just have to look this stuff up, because right now I'm forgetting everything. But but I will say this on this video is the main thing, you know, and I'll put them both in the same class, because I did get asked the question. The main thing with coccidia and parvo is stop the diarrhea and the vomiting. Of course you want to get to the vet. And I know it's going to be a million people. If you can't afford to go to the vet, then you shouldn't have a dog. Okay, motherfuckers. But sometimes things happen to people. You know, everybody isn't always as fortunate to be able to do whatever everybody else is to do. So in this case, you want to go ahead and you want to stop the diarrhea. Pedialyte becomes your friend. If the dog is drinking water on its own, that's fine. But what I still do is I get the bigger syringe, like a 12 or a 25 cc syringe. I suck a little Pedialyte in there, and I don't squirt it into their mouth. I sort of dribble it. I hold their chin up and I aim right up under the tongue, because that's how they drink. And you know, just drip, 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 and try to get them to get down as much as they can. Come back, and I do that basically every 15 minutes. And I keep on checking the hydration on the back of the neck to make sure that their skin is snapping right back. And you know, and it's just repeat, repeat, repeat. Eventually, generally, what I can tell when I get out of hot water with any of those situations, and I've only had them a couple times, but but I've treated other people's, by the way. But the one thing that I do know is that once you see the stools go back hard, generally that's when the dog is going to start eating again. They're going to start drinking again, and you're pretty much on the good foot. But what you should do is still continue to core it for a few more, you know, at least 3 or 4 more days. Some people treat them up to 21 days with the cord if we talking about coccidia. And you know, with parvo, you just, you know, keep on giving them the antibiotic, which like I say, amoxicillin, cephalexin works pretty good. And you know, you got to keep the hydration up though. You got to keep the hydration. You got to keep that shit stopped. And this is the very basic version of this. We could go more and more on and on. Like I say, it's other things than cord, excuse me, that can be used to treat coccidia. There's other ways besides Pedialyte. Even I know some people prefer. I had a puppy that I'd actually picked up from somebody that had parvo. So on my way on this long ass drive back, the dog is, you know, in a bad situation. Well, I actually got that dog. The dog lived and turned out to be a beautiful female. But I actually got that dog together with coconut water. Yeah, I had read up that the coconut water is got more electrolytes than the Pedialyte, which is debatable. They always debate it. They always debate it. But yeah, I did the same thing. Drips up under the tongue. You know, I stopped by a place, you know, that sold fish antibiotics, which is the same thing. I got me some cephalexin, start hitting her with the cephalexin, filled her ass up with that, that time I think it was Pepto, got that poop to sort of stop, and she was in bad shape for a minute. I didn't think she was going to get it, but the more I kept working her and giving her the fluids and getting that stuff up out of there, it became great. Eventually, once I got home, I added a little apple cider vinegar in there and gave her some charcoal, you know, not real charcoal, people, the pills, the the charcoal pills. I gave her the charcoal pill to soak up all the nonsense in her stomach. And man, you know, she snapped back in about a week. maybe a week to 10 days, she snapped back. And, you know, it took her another week or so before her weight got back up. But she was good, you know. And this is not something that, and that was parvo, but this is not something that you can guarantee. And I will say this on this video, is if you know, if you do have the opportunity to take your ass to the vet, go to the vet, because they're going to give you the ringers, which is basically an IV bag with a bunch of vitamins and sodium and all that shit in there to keep your dog hydrated. They're still going to give you some more antibiotics, and they're going to give you a medicine to go ahead and stop the shit. The same thing that we're trying to do at home, but they have, you know, pretty much a better way to do it. So, and a lot of vets will only charge you right around $200. Some of them cheaper, some of them a little more, but they'll send you home basically with a parvo kit and let you do all the treatments at home and get the dog up. But generally what I found out with parvo and what I found out with coccidia is if you stay on the hydration side and you make sure that that dog is staying hydrated, stopping the poop and the vomiting for like about 3 days, usually you get a good turnaround. It's a lot of work for 3 days because you constantly giving them, you know, I just set a damn timer on my phone every 15 minutes, bing, 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 and I go back, I give them a little more, I go back, I give them a little more, you know, so I keep checking for poop to see, okay, are you still squirting shit, or, you know, are you starting to squirt shit, or whatever the case may be, excuse my language. And I'll add some more, you know, whatever, Imodium or Pepto or whatever. But, you know, the key is, like I say, with both of these, the dehydration gets them, you know. The dehydration gets them, and like I say, a lot of them will lose a lot of blood coming from the intestinal linings. That's why that goes hand in hand. You have to stop that flushing of the irritated bowel, because they'll lose too much blood. If you can get that to settle, and, you know, hey, I'd rather them be a little bit, you know what I'm saying, backed up, than for them to keep doing that. Because while all of this is going on, you know, and I can keep them backed up, I can also keep the antibiotics in them to fight off the virus and stop the bleeding and stop what's going on in the stomach, and give it a chance to heal without bleeding out and flushing out all your fluids. So with that being said, you know, hopefully that helps you guys. And in general, it doesn't have to be coccidia or parvo, but always remember, when your dog got the runs, or you got a puppy this, especially when it's that watery diarrhea, get them checked if you can. But the first step, that if you can't get them checked immediately, or it might be a couple days, stop that and use you know, use something to stop that runniness, and pay close attention to their fluid intake and make sure that they're staying hydrated. The dogs are much like us. We'll die without hydration, but we can go a week without eating. You know, or I think you might be able to even go longer than that without eating, but you definitely cannot go that long without being properly hydrated. So just a tip, man, answering the question. Hopefully it didn't come off as rambling too much. I feel like weird right now. So I'll catch y'all next time. Much love. Peace.